Hey, it's time at Dish with D. That's me. Thank you for making yourself a priority. I'm Denise. It is Wednesday, and we are back to Wednesday Wisdom for Weight Loss. So we took a little hiatus last week, and it's good because it's always good to give it a rest and let people come up with some really interesting questions. Now, I haven't looked at them yet, and I don't know if you knew this, but I don't look at them until I come on. So sometimes if I don't know the answers, because I didn't have time to research because I'm reading them live. That's really hard to do because my curiosity has me. But for me to give you the honest answer, I need to answer off the cuff. I'm just better that way. If I had to give you a predicted answer, a predicted text, and like plan what I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't like that. I like just knowing right off the bat, right off the top of my head, what's my first thought on that subject. So thank you for putting your questions. And if you want to participate, leave a question down in the comment section below or leave it in the Facebook group, Dish with D's Crew. I check both. And I didn't check last week, so I don't think there was anything there anyway. But if I did and I missed it, just say, hey, D, here's my question. You missed it. Hey, I'm not perfect. So let's get started. If I can see. All right. What is the purpose of drinking greens, and do you have them daily? Okay, the purpose of drinking greens for me, and I always give you my opinion, why I do things, doesn't make it the right opinion or the reason they created them. I have no idea. But for me, I don't eat enough greens. I don't eat enough leafy green vegetables that are high in nutrients and antioxidants and yada, yada, yada. I know I don't. And here's the thing. When you look at the back of the greens container, all they contain, how much would you really have to eat? You know, honestly, I can get 8 ounces of water, put my scoop of greens in there, and I chug it. I'm going to tell you, and I said this last night in the live, we were talking about greens. You know, they come in flavors. You know, different, everybody has them out. So, you know, they do. Do they taste better? Well, they're still greens, and they're still going to have that kind of taste. Yes, they may have a peachy undertone, but they're still going to taste like greens. So I tend to chug them. It's just easier for me. It's 8 ounces. I mix it with my little, handheld frother, and I chug it. That's just how I get it down, and I don't think about it. They don't look good. They look like swamp water. They're dark green. Sometimes I don't like the smell. I'm going to be honest. That's with every brand I've had, the smell. I don't smell them. I just drink them. I get them down, and I move on. I've been doing that consistently, probably 6 months maybe now. I try to get them in every day. Do I always? Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm just too busy and I just don't do it. But for the most part, I try to get them in. I just think it's one thing I can chug that's good for my body. And it gets 8 ounces of water in. So I feel that's a win-win in both situations. But again, I don't sit here and say, I'm drinking greens, you should too. I try not to do that, and I hope I don't. But I'm just telling you what I do and why I do it. That's just, the reason. And I get mine, there's two different, a lot of, like I said, Clean Simple Eats has greens that are good. Motivate, I get 20% off. Those greens are decent. Bloom greens are really good. But they're greens. They're not going to taste really great. Don't get that, oh my God, they're going to taste like a smoothie. They're going to taste like greens with a little bit of an undertone of something else. Just chuck them. Chuck them down and know that you did something good for yourself and you move on. The temptation of reaching on the candy drawer and how to stop the temptation. Oh, the candy. Well, do you know what I'm going to say? Don't have it near where you're going to reach for it, number one. I try to keep it in the room I don't really go into. For me, it's my dining room. I don't go in my dining room. It's not a room I don't know. It's just, I'm not a dining room kind of person, I guess. So the boys and Steve keep their candy out there, and I have a candy bucket on my buffet, amongst other things on that little island. I have a Chalk Zero bucket, my sugar-free Hershey's. Anything that I get that's for me, I keep it there. Do I always go into it? No, I don't go in it every day. There's a couple times where I'll grab 1 or 2, but at least if I'm grabbing 1 or 2 of those, it's still a better choice of grabbing 1 or 2 of the other ones. So I don't have it in front of me. I'm telling you, out of sight, out of mind. It helps. If you have to stare at it, you're going to want it. If you don't see it, you don't think about it. So that's my best advice. Don't have it staring at you in the face. Even if you have trouble with the sugar-free ones, then don't have them out. Just put them somewhere. Like, I got to a point of telling people to hold on to them and let me, ask you. So I'm more or less likely to ask somebody for something in the long run or ask them for one. because it was a weigh-in day back in the day. It was always my day for Steve's chocolate. So he says, he knows. So he goes, well, it's Saturday. Do you want a piece of chocolate? I'm like, yes. So ask for help from somebody is another one of my advices. And if you can't get it, like I said, out of sight, out of mind, don't bring it in the house. If it's not there, you can't be tempted. But we live with other people. So if theirs is tempting you, then have them put it somewhere else where you can't see it. Have you changed your thoughts on protein? I feel in the past you weren't a fan of increased protein. I am a fan of increased protein. I'm not a fan of an exorbitant amount of increased protein. I think we definitely should have more protein in our diet. Yes. Should you have an amount that's unattainable, where you have to be drinking protein shakes and having bars to get your protein goals in? For me, it doesn't work. I can't reach, like they say you should have it, your goal weight in protein. That's what I've heard. Again, I don't know. I don't go by that. I try to have more protein. I have a protein goal set for me in my app of 90 grams of protein a day. I feel that is attainable with mostly food versus supplements, because I'm not buying, supplements to get a protein goal that I'm going to have to keep buying supplements to reach that protein goal, if that makes sense. If you do that, that's, as long as you can maintain that, that's great. I know I can't. And I'm not eating something because it's high in protein. I'm eating something because I want it. Because in the end, if I don't want it and I eat it anyway, I'm still going to be looking for something that I really, truly want. So it has to be about the want versus the need in my life. So, because if I don't get something I want, I'm going to keep looking for it. But yeah, I definitely have a protein goal of 90 grams a day. It's in my not my Fitness Pal. It's in my Healthy I Track Bites app, because I have it with macros, so I have that at 90. But everybody's goal is different. I think you should talk to somebody who could help you with that. Boredom eating, filling the void mentally. Oh, because here's the thing: when you can't fill the void from food, then food is not what you want. And I think learning that, like, if you keep eating and you keep eating, then it's not about the food. It's you're substituting food for something else. Maybe it is boredom. Maybe you need to go out and do something, or find a hobby, or do something with friends. I do Netflix. I know, yeah, you've heard me say it. When I'm bored and I need to delve into a series, and I get involved, and I don't think about food anymore. But sometimes it's boredom eating just comes from being bored. You're not really hungry. You're just bored, and eating is an activity. So you need to replace that activity with something else. I was into Facebook games. I farmed. Oh yeah, I had a great farm. Farming, those games suck up time. Games suck up time. Netflix sucks up time. And that's what you want. You want time to go. All of a sudden it's like, oh, look at that. 3 hours have passed. So that's, it is, because if it's not hunger, you're going to be eating all night, because you're just, and you're never going to feel full, because that's not your problem. Your problem is you're bored and you need to do something else. I don't know, reading. I just joined the library again. I haven't been there forever, but I joined the online library so I can get books out, and I can get books on audiobooks, all for free. So I'm excited about trying something like that. But yeah, for me, it's games, Facebook games, Netflix, Hulu, and now it's going to be audiobooks. Keep me out of the kitchen, because I'm not hungry, so I got to find something to occupy myself. I wish I liked Sudoku, but I don't. I wish I liked the adult coloring books, which I don't. But yeah, find fun stuff like that. Something that's going to get you involved is what I would suggest. Ideas on how to lower cholesterol. Oh, exercise. I know you don't want to hear that. Exercise is really good for lowering cholesterol. It is. And trying to limit your higher fat foods, like eggs. Yes, they're good for you, but they are higher in fat. Maybe lower fat dairies. Are you having full fat dairy? I would say lower your dairies. I wouldn't go fat-free, because fat-free sucks. It really does. Yogurt's the only thing I can get down fat-free. I've just given up. I don't know if you saw in a video that I'm probably not going to buy the fat-free cottage cheese anymore. The sodium's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's okay. I don't mind the taste, but I feel like 425 milligrams of sodium per serving is a lot when I can get 45. And you're talking calorie-wise, it's 10 points difference. So you just have to rationalize it. Like, it's not that bad. So definitely go to a lower fat dairy. I love nut milks. You know me, I love nut milks. Depends on what you're eating. Are you eating higher fat foods? But definitely weight loss helps with cholesterol. Exercise helps with cholesterol. You know, it's those things that we don't want to hear. Diet and exercise, okay. But that's truly how you lower your cholesterol. Doesn't WW factor in macros when designing points values for food? Why would you need to track in addition to tracking points? Yes, they do. They make the perfect balance in your points. That's why points a lot of times make sense, because it's higher in good and lower in bad. But I think if you want to increase your protein to feel fuller, that's why people are doing it. Like, how do I feel fuller without going over my points? Well, increase your protein. And a lot of proteins on WW are zero, like the chicken, the fish, you know, the non-fat Greek yogurt, the eggs are all zero. And a can of tuna has 28 grams, I think, of protein in it. That's a lot. And you can have that for lunch. That's like, to me, that's a quarter of my day right there in a can of tuna. So I feel like people track macros just to have better options. Lowering your carbs is definitely going to help you lose weight. It is. But you have to keep them lower. If you're going to lower your carbs to lose weight and then go back to eating the way you used to eat, you're going to gain that weight right back. So when I say keep it maintainable, I mean that, because you're going to have to maintain it. You know, losing weight is easier than maintaining weight. I'm going to be honest with you, it is, because we all could drop weight. Can we keep it off? And lowering your carbs too low, well, you'll drop weight like nobody's business. I've seen with myself, if I lower my carbs, I'm like, oh, wow, I had a really good week and I realized I didn't have many carbs. But when I have my normal amount of carbs, it just goes right back up. So you have to keep your macros, and I said this back with the protein, you have to keep them in doable quantities, because it's a lifestyle. You're not doing this temporarily. You're hopefully going to do this forever. So what can you maintain? Can you maintain 150 grams of protein a day forever? But can you maintain 80 and 90? So definitely tracking macros just gives you better options for points. It gives you better options to keep you full. You know, lower carb, yes, is always a good option, but not low carb. Did you get the ER in there? Lower. We all should be lower. Carbs I'm very carb conscious. I try to keep my carbs around 110, which that is not low carb, but it's definitely lower than 200. So for me, that is something I could definitely is doable for the rest of my life. And somebody said that their doctor or nutritionist said 35 carbs a meal, no more than that, which I thought was a good clip as well. How do you deal with insomnia? Some nights I'm wide awake. I don't have insomnia, but because I have a CPAP. So once I'm out. Sometimes we have insomnia because we have things on our mind. And when you try to relax, that's when it comes out. So my question is, do you have a lot on your mind before you go to bed? Number 2, are you drinking too much caffeine before you go to bed? Sometimes caffeine, for some people, now it doesn't affect me, but I know some people, they can't have caffeine after 6 or they're up all night. So definitely think about why. You know, think about the diet you have before you go to bed. You know, do you have undue stress? Because that's when it hits you, when you try to relax. And then it just runs through your mind. Maybe you're not realizing it, but sometimes you do. And sometimes I hear a lot of people post-menopause have insomnia. I don't know if it comes with menopause. I don't know, but I hear a lot of people post-menopause will have insomnia. I mean, are you sleeping during the day and you're just not that tired? Like for me, I didn't sleep at all at night. So I was sleeping all day because I just was exhausted. But if you're catnapping during the day, maybe you're just not tired enough. Maybe try increasing a little more activity to get you a little bit more tired. Try not napping, try lowering, not having caffeine at dinner time. Maybe stop your caffeine midday. And are you under any kind of stress? Anything bothering you? You're worried about your kids or your husband or your job or your family. Is something there that's just underlying bothering you? Because sometimes that's when it bugs you, when you're like in the middle of the night and because it's quiet, it's peaceful. That's when you can really think. And you think about everything comes to your head at that time. So that would be my advice for that. Has anybody lowered their triglyceride levels on Weight Watchers? I feel I cut out so much sugar, but they're still high. Any tips? Triglycerides come from a combination of sugars that turn into starch, like carbohydrates are high in triglycerides. Like pizza is the worst thing to eat. I mean, and nobody ever tells people that. Pizza is like one of the worst things to eat. Sometimes it's just, it's just your heredity, is that the word I'm looking for? Your family history. If you have a family history of it, you're going to have to be more diligent on the type of foods that you eat. So yeah, things that are higher in sugar and carbs raise your triglycerides, kind of like cholesterol. Usually they go hand in hand sometimes. So I would say definitely things that have sugar and carbs, keep them at bay. Again, I would never do low carb. Maybe keep your carbs at 30 per meal, and definitely kick up your exercise. Maybe you could benefit from one of those little monitors. I don't know how much they cost, where you put those little monitors on and it tells you like when your sugar is spiking based on what you're eating, because sometimes your body's just digesting things a different way, and this little monitor will let you know. I don't know anything about them, but I just see people who wear them, and maybe that might be an idea for you if you have high triglycerides. Maybe your insurance might say, hey, that's a great idea. But always exercise. Try to drink more water. It's like the same advice for everything. And it's like this, we have to get up and move. We have to drink more water. We have to watch our calories and our sugars and our fats. I feel like a lot of times low fat gets a bad rap. I'm eating full fat. I eat full fat. Guess what? Everybody can't eat full fat, because full fat for some people causes their triglycerides and their cholesterol to go up. That's why they came out with low fat. I don't know why when people make this, we got to eat full fat. Why? I'm not on the bandwagon of totally fat free, but I think a low fat, there's a place for it. People need it. Full fat's not good for us. It's not. So definitely a lower fat options in cheeses and dairies is never a bad idea. So that's what I would suggest. Anything you suggest to eat in the evening between dinner and bedtime that won't keep me awake at night or upset my tummy, but keep me satisfied. All right. This is probably not the answer that you want. I always suggest not eating after dinner. Only because I feel like that just leads into bad choices, in my opinion. I mean, every once in a while, yeah, you're out or there's a movie on, you got popcorn, yeah. But for the most part, I don't eat after dinner. And I don't eat because I had a satisfying dinner. My question is to you, is your dinner satisfying? Are you having a protein, a vegetable, and a carbohydrate with your dinner? Some of us don't eat enough carbs, especially at dinner time, so we're looking for something after dinner. I want you to, there's always, I'm always about the treat, that, but I don't have treats every day after dinner. Maybe there's a bar involved, there's a whoopie pie or something, but not every day. There's so many days a week that I allow because it's fun, like I keep it normal, but not every day. I feel like it's not something I adhere to, and not for any particular reason. I just think it's just a good habit, and it's a good habit to give your body time between dinner and breakfast the next day to really slow down. That's why they have this intermittent fasting. And to me, I do a semi-intermittent because I don't eat after 6 and I eat around 8 or 9 in the morning. I eat pretty early for breakfast. There's people that do intermittent fasting don't eat till like 10. I don't know how you do that. 8:30 is like I'm looking for food. But what is keeping, it says that won't keep me awake at night. And if it's upsetting your stomach, sometimes it's too late to eat. I had really bad reflux, so I couldn't eat after dinner, or I would be up during the night with an upset stomach. So my advice is maybe, I'm not saying you have reflux, I'm just saying, but maybe eating that late is not good for your body right now. So I would suggest maybe getting a decent dinner in and seeing, and it's hard when you're used to grabbing that snack after dinner, you're used to grabbing that snack. It's more of a habit than a want. So it's basically you want to change the habit. So maybe you could just try something else or get occupied and see after a couple of weeks if you really truly are looking for it. That would be my advice. I'd be curious if you're looking for it after a few weeks. And like I said, make sure you're having a satisfying dinner so you don't need to look for anything else. And yeah, plan dessert a couple nights a week. Plan that mug cake, plan that whoopie pie. Have a bar. But I honestly wouldn't do it every night. And like I said, if your stomach is upset, it's maybe too late to eat. Would be my best guess. I have followed a strict low-sodium diet. I have to follow a strict low-sodium diet. Any advice? Even cottage cheese is difficult to fit in 2,000 ml. Oh, yeah. chicken sausage, turkey lunch meat, so many different things are off limits to me now. Yes, you have to be very sodium conscious, and sodium is in everything. I just said fat-free cottage cheese has 425 milligrams of sodium. Yeah, definitely read labels. I mean, that's the thing. And I'm going to be honest with you. To get a low sodium, you're going to have to more cooking yourself versus buying anything prepared. Sausages, lunch meats, they're all notoriously high in sodium. So maybe instead of lunch meat, and I'm a big lunch meat fan, but if you need to be on a restricted sodium diet, you definitely maybe need to just make your own turkey breast and have that. Make your own cranberry sauce and have that. I know nobody wants to cook. I know that. But when it comes to, you have to control a certain item, and especially sodium, that's huge because sodium is in everything. It's a preservative. So you're going to find it in everything. Now, you can look for low sodium options, but they're still somewhere in there, like saltines. They have no salt tops, but there's salt in the cracker. I mean, I guess you have to limit yourself to how much you could have a day. So, I hate to be the one that sits there and says you're going to have to start cooking things. Drink more water as well. That helps with sodium. It flushes it out. Even though you're on a water pill, like my mother could not understand why she had lymphedema, and she retained water, tons, and she would be on a water pill. And I'd say to her, "Are you drinking?" She says, "Why would I drink? I'm trying to get rid of fluid." You have to flush it out. That is how they work. Water pills need water to work. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. So I would definitely say flush. Slip is here. I didn't realize that. Flush out your system. Drink plenty of water. Try not to drink anything with salt in it, like electrolytes. Don't be drinking electrolyte water if you have a sodium issue. It's just going to compound it daily. It's not good for you. Electrolyte water is only good for people who sweat and sweat profusely. Not just like, I got a little sweat glaze. No, you got to be sweating profusely to need electrolyte water. It's not good for you to put salt in your body if your body doesn't need it. So if you have a high sodium, low sodium diet, you're going to have to find things, read labels. There is cottage cheese that has no sodium in it. There is things that don't have sodium. You have to be a diligent label reader. Go on websites. I'm sure there's Facebook groups that have low sodium. I would lay bets there's places out there. Or go on Pinterest and Pinterest in low sodium this or low sodium that. Google low sodium options. But yeah, anything prepared, anything processed is going to have sodium, and it's going to have a lot. So I would have to say you'd have to stay away from. And 2,000 milligrams of sodium a day is not a lot of sodium. Like I said, the cottage cheese has 425 milligrams for a half cup. That's a quarter of your day. So I would sit there and say, yeah, you're going to have to start cooking. Even like a rotisserie chicken I wouldn't get because, again, it's injected. I would say cook your own chicken. I know it's not what you want to hear. I know. I don't like cooking like that either. But when it comes to the fact that you have to control something, the only best way to control it is to cook it. So cooking, but then again, roasting a chicken is pretty easy. Put that bad boy in there and let them roast. Or get a turkey breast. Put it in there and let it roast. Slice it down for the week. You have to get your cheese with, who doesn't love cheese? And real cheese is processed. I'm not telling you to make your own cheese. But then again, you could use your sodium in your cheeses. And you could have, check everything has sodium. So just be very diligent when maybe there's a sodium app that you can get that would track it for you. Like, I don't know if any of the, like my Fitness Pal or they track sodium. I don't know. I'm sure there's got to be an app out there. You'd think. If not, there should be one. Maybe I should make one. But yeah, definitely you're going to have to be very conscious of that because that's huge. Salt and everything. If you want to, what I always adhere to is when I use table salt, I tend to use kosher salt versus the fine salt because it's too fine. You use more when it's fine versus the big flakes. So that's an advice too. Use the big flake salt versus the little salt. Yeah, that's a hard one. Yeah, somebody also suggested herbs and spices instead of salt for flavor, Mrs. Dash. But I'm looking at what you said. You said chicken sausage, turkey lunch meat. So those things, yeah, they're all processed. You're going to have to go to a non-processed diet. That's hard because everything is processed. Everything is convenient. And I totally understand that because we got stuff to do. We don't, but my big thing is like get yourself, roasted chicken, roasted turkey breast. And that's what you could have. Slice it down. It's delicious. And you could dip it in, low salt barbecue. There's salt in everything. So that's what I'm saying. There's salt in everything. There's salt and salt. There is salt in everything. So it's going to be that's a hard one. It's even worse, in my opinion, than cholesterol and fats, because salt it's a preservative. It's in everything. So definitely, like you can get like canned tomatoes. It'll say low sodium or no sodium. So definitely look at things that have no salt or low salt, and then try to, but be very diligent, because obviously you're on a restricted diet for a reason. To go down to 2,000 milligrams, it's a fluid issue. So we got to, it's a heart issue. So we want to make sure that you are eating the right amount of sodium. And it's no joke. Sodium could do a lot of damage to somebody that, so definitely just read labels, make lists, ask, find it, there's got to be groups. There's got to be some resource for that. So definitely, it's a great question. All a great question. So that is it. Oh my goodness. You guys really made me, this video always exhausts me. I don't know why, but it does. But I thank you guys for putting your questions in. I love them. They were awesome. Thank you for those that submitted. Like I said, every week I put the thing in the Facebook group on Tuesday. Maybe you want to put your question in, or leave it in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. So that is it. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you thought of these questions and these answers. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Join us here at Dish with D. We'd love to have you as part of our family. So I will dish with you another day. I'm filming vlog today, and I'm visiting Miss Esther. The Queen is here from England. Oh, you will see that tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.